Welcome to Hello Me, It's Me, Vulnerable AF, a podcast hosted by Nikki D. Lovely. That's really just her diary disguised as a podcast, but who cares? You're here for it. Join in as she addresses her self-reflections on life, love, and dating, and gives us all the tea by being more vulnerable than she ever has, with herself and the world. So let's get started in today's episode with Nikki D. Lovely, already in progress.
All right, hello and welcome to Hello Me. It's me, Vulnerable as F. I'm Nikki. I have a special guest today. So
Yes.
I am here with Sheba Speaks Volumes. Hi, Sheba. Say hello to everyone.
Hello. Good to see you all. Well, good for you to see me.
That or hear you, right?
Yes, or hear me, but it's good to see you.
Yeah.
Like, I love talking to you.
Yes.
You are a professional yapologist. We could just keep doing this.
Girl, all day, all night, every day too.
Connect with people who understand me because the conversations are always endless.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm a yapper.
Absolutely.
And I saw that you're a poet. And I was like, yeah.
So I am. I'm a spoken word artist. I started writing when I was little. When I was a little girl. Always been really good at writing, and I started writing poetry when I was like maybe in middle school. And then life got its hands on me and I abandoned it. I abandoned my writing. And when I met my spiritual healer in 2020, she said to me, I want you to start journaling. Journal every day. I want you to journal in the morning and I want you to journal at night. And I need you to write out at least 3 pages. It's power in your writing. You may not understand right now, but you need to journal.
You know, I've been journaling since I was like, ooh, now that you bring it up. I think I have my diary from when I was 11.
That's something like, did you have a diary when you were little?
I did, yes.
Yep, me too.
Yep, I used to love to write.
I love it, and I still do. Like I feel like I've regained a love for writing.
Me too.
Yeah, because of the journaling that she encouraged for me to do. So now that's one of the biggest things that I will do when I feel like I'm getting a little overwhelmed in life, whatever situation, or I have too many thoughts crowding my thoughts, like my mind. I write. Like I'm like, I need to write. I need to write. I'm
Yes.
like, if you see my bed, look at this. I keep them in my bed. So I have my page journal, I have a gratitude journal, my poetry.
I think you may be ADHD just like me because I have 1,001
I have
journals.
1,000 books. But she said to me, she was like, it's power in your writing and I need you to write. And I started back writing, and then by 2021, I had actually performed a piece that I had wrote, and then I was a headliner, and then all these opportunities started to come up, and then the person giving me the opportunities, they had relocated. So I'm like, well, how do I do this again? So I stopped performing, but I kept writing. And then I realized that a lot of my writing was just a catalyst that I needed to get through my healing, to get through all the things that was coming up for me. You have to rely on yourself and God and, that direction and that clarity and that protection, because I even have a piece that starts, protect me from my own thoughts. So it's like sometimes, we touched on the subconscious thoughts and the things that are happening in your subconscious. Sometimes it's not in alignment with your conscious self. You want it to be, and you want to change that, but I feel like writing helps with that. It just does.
For sure.
It really helps with that. And I recommend it to anybody. You want to have a superpower? Right.
Okay, all right. So Sheba just gave everybody the secret. If you want to have a superpower, then you need to write. Let's talk about some things that we could write about. Because one of the things that I've noticed on Threads is my online diary, right? And so today in this episode, let's just talk about the things that we actually wind up talking about on Threads a lot, which is, unfortunately, like for me, it's been dating and being a single mom. And then my healing journey. Those are like the top 3 things that I discuss. One thing we did start to discuss was, being a single mom and dating, but also feelings of abandonment, right? And I think one thing for me, I feel like especially when you have those feelings of abandonment, you feel like you're alone. For me, that's when I started pouring out even more into writing. Because who else, you just said, who else are you going to talk to? Who else is going to understand what you're talking about?
And what you said, my pen and my paper, and I remember you saying something like, nobody's going to show up for you. My spiritual healer had said that to me. She was like, nobody's coming to
save you.
She said, it's almost like you're waiting for a savior.
You are.
You learn how to do this for yourself. And then that is the part is coming to me, and I'm getting the words. Sometimes I abandon other people in showing up for me and learning how to do for me. Sometimes I abandon other people, but I was so fixated on how people abandoned me. I even had a friendship that I kind of phased myself out of, and I never said anything. And all I could focus on was how she handled it, how she would talk about me to other people. And I'm like, see, this is exactly why I'm not your friend now.
Right.
But I realized even in the awareness that I've achieved since then, I abandoned her. In search for myself, I abandoned her with no word, no nothing.
Right.
I just walked away and said nothing. Even if I said, I didn't even attempt to have like a real conversation, because it was like fight or flight. Right. And it's like, even though we had gotten to a really bad argument, and that is where it really kind of opened my eyes for me. In the friendship. Now, was she ever really a friend? Did what she did what she did for the version of me that she had. But the version of me that I needed to become, her services were no longer needed.
I'm glad we're talking about this because I actually have had something on my spirit for a while that has to do with a friend that I kind of feel abandoned by as well. However, listening to you, I will say I was probably in the same situation where it was like I have walked away without saying anything. I haven't said anything to her like, hey, how come we're not talking anymore? Like, is everything okay? Now, I did reach out to her last, which I feel like because I reached out to her last, it was like, okay, when you give it back to me. But at the same time, it's kind of like what you said too. She was a friend for that season.
Yes.
I think what I hate is how much I feel I invested. That old me, remember that old you who was listening to all the stories and giving out all the advice? I feel like I helped her through to where she got to where she is, where for her right now it's all sunshine and rainbows. And when it was my turn to walk, and need the advice, she was nowhere to be found. She was kind of like, I'm at capacity. I have a husband now. Like, I don't have time for this. That's kind of how I felt. Like I was just a little discarded. And it's like, how much do you push? How much do you push for that? Knowing that maybe that was just a season, or maybe not. Maybe it was, she still needs like 2 years with her husband. And maybe she'll come back later and say, hey, I know we kind of fell off, but I don't know. My brain has been kind of all over the place. Like where do you allow friendships to end and how do you pick them up? Like for me, for somebody who typically has all the answers, I don't have the answer for this one. Like, I don't know what to do. I don't know. Should I just reach out? And my daughters say, no, mom, don't reach out. They're like, you've done so much for her already. They were there when she would call and be like, Nikki, like, like with the tears.
Crying and all things and dumping and all the things and all the time that you were there for her. And then when the roles were reversed and you needed her to be there for you, she was nowhere to be found because she got what was making her happy.
Yeah.
And I feel like if she got the opportunity to be in that situation that she was in before, and she picks up the phone and she calls you, but doesn't inquire about how you're doing and how you've been and all the things. I don't know. Like, it's kind of tricky because I don't have like all the details about the friendship. But people are in your life for a purpose, a reason, and a season.
Yeah.
And I just said to my mom, because I have a couple homegirls where I would talk about how they were showing up in my life, and I wasn't okay with it, but I also understood what they struggled with, probably more than they did themselves. So I would allow for space in our connection. And then when it comes back, or when they would revisit and we would spend some time together, I'm checking up on them and I'm checking for context clues to see if that thing that I know they struggled with, that at some point it would have affected me, if they're actively working on that, okay, now we can have the conversation because I feel like you can handle it better. Sometimes, when people can't handle a conversation.
Yeah.
Because there was another friendship that I had where I did try to have the conversation, but because I felt like I was made to believe that I was feeling how I was feeling by myself, so it made me not want to really talk about it with anyone. But at the place that I'm at now, I think you kind of know when you can have a certain conversation with someone, even in the anxiety or the nervousness about this person will handle the conversation. I feel like it's certain people and there's certain things I listen for, and it's like, I don't think this person will be able to handle this conversation. And if I feel like they can, I'll have the conversation with them, and however they're receiving what I'm saying, because I am being mindful in what I'm saying.
You're not talking to the person though. How do you get that feeling of whether or not you feel as though they are able to receive it if you haven't talked to this person?
You can reach out to them. Is it completely no contact, or are they like, do they follow you on social media? Do they support you in that way?
Well, we're still following each other on social media, but there's no. I don't post that much on social media to begin with, but when I do, they've never been the type to be like openly supportive the way I have. I'm always
Okay.
I'm a girl's girl. Like I've toned it down some, like, because I understand not everybody needs a cheerleader, and I'm not the cheerleader anymore. But when you were my friends, or if you are my friends, I'm going to support you. I don't get the same reciprocity. Yeah, I don't get the same support from this particular friend, and a lot of it I think has to do with the fact that she did get married. You know how I've heard people say check on your friends to see if they're okay? Sometimes I wonder, like, should I just reach out and check on her just to see if she's okay? But then there's also another part of me that's kind of like, well, this is her new life too, and it's very different from mine.
But if she feels like she can't share this new life with you, first I want to ask, how do you feel about this? Because how you feel matters. Like, I know a lot of times, especially when we have the awareness that we have, we tend to bypass how we feel because we're trying to figure out what's going on. But how do you feel? If you feel abandoned, sometimes what we really need to do is just kind of sit in that emotion and allow it to process and pass so that we can get to the point of having the conversation. Like, even with my best friends, they moved clear across the world for spiritual reasons and business reasons. It was so many reasons that got them there. But I noticed that I didn't talk to them that much. And that bothered me because I'm like, you're supposed to be my best friend. You are my safe space. We're not communicating how I feel like we should be. And I feel a little abandoned. I feel like I'm being left behind. I chose to not have that conversation when I was feeling it the most.
Yeah.
So I let time pass, but it got to a point where I knew I could communicate how I felt in a healthy way. When I did, it was received positively. They apologized for me feeling that way. That's never, it was
never the intent.
Yeah, it was a response where they were like, that's not my intent for you to feel.
Right.
That was never my intent. I love you. You should hear how much we include you in our future plans and all the things. And it just made me feel so much secure. And I actually was proud of myself that I did say something.
I'm proud of you too.
Thank you. But I had to acknowledge how I felt. And then I had to learn how to really just show up for myself first and foremost. to where I wasn't relying on assistance from other people, but I didn't want to be shut off from having these friendships, because what I noticed I did too, because I love them so much, because I feel like so much of myself with them and all the things, I was shutting myself off to meeting other people. And I feel like with me allowing myself to be open to other friendships, it takes the pressure off of me putting all that responsibility.
Pressure on them to be your best friend.
Right, exactly.
It's
And
true.
it is. So I say all that to say, what was she in your life prior to getting to this space? Was she a best friend, or was she a close friend? Like, it's tiers, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or was she like every now and then friend?
No, she was technically my best friend
Okay.
in California. But I will say we went through some stuff together. We basically like evolved together. We evolved on our healing journey together. I will say she probably needed a little bit more reassurance from me. And I remember I was telling you about who are you to people when you become that person that can just give all the advice and basically be the therapist.
Yeah.
And then I actually got her to go to therapy. And I realized once she went to therapy, she didn't need me anymore, which is good because it released me from it. But then I also realized that was I just a therapist friend, you know? Because now what are we talking about? It was almost like only thing we really had to talk about was what problems she was going through at the time, you know?
Yeah.
Nikki, I need advice. And even my kids, and they were young at the time, and they'd be like, Mom, she always calls you when she needs something. You know, like she always calls you when she needs advice. And so when you ask me, how do I feel? And I've had this conversation with myself. I'm not going to lie. I did feel abandoned when she got married. And then to just be shunned, I feel like after the wedding. I will say there was a part of me that even when we were friends, I started to ask myself, is this too much for me? Like there were times when I actually wanted to kind of cut the friendship because it was a lot on me. I felt there were sometimes I was like, you look and you see the phone ringing and you're like, but it's your friend and you know we're givers and our hearts are big. So it's like, I'm going to be here for her. So it's one of those things where I feel like maybe it's just we were friends for a season, as much as I hate to say that because she just got married. But I also know when people get married, sometimes they're really just kind of going through this process within themselves too, and they're becoming different people. You know, and I may just have to realize that she's not the same person. I'm not the same person that I was when we were first friends, you know?
I feel like, did you want advice? I know you said in the beginning you asked me what I thought, but did you want any like advice about it?
Yeah. Go ahead.
I feel like from giving me more information, it does sound like the relationship was transactional on her part. It does sound like you outgrew each other, but it sounds like it's still bothering you. And if you need to say these things to her, I would suggest to actually say it. I would say it. I would write it out in maybe an email or a physical letter. And
if I say it, then I'm bringing it back into my life. And then the question is,
but it's still there because you still care so much.
No, I think what I cared about was, again, the transaction, because you said it was transactional, right?
Yeah.
I think I gave too much. If I'm being honest, I gave way too much of myself. And if I'm also being honest, remember we talking about the nice guy and a nice girl and wanting something in return? I think that part of me is like, you gave so much, and what did you get back in return?
Got it. So it's your ego.
It's my ego. I think it's my ego that is that, and that's why I'm trying to ignore it. Because I'm like, no, that's your ego talking. But for me, it's just kind of like, eat the lesson. Eat it. So I think that's where I'm sitting in, and even talking to you about it, I'm glad that I'm able to, like, you know, put words to it.
Right.
Because it was bothering me, but what's been bothering me is the transactional part of it. it's
Yeah.
the nice girl that I used to be that gave so much, and I'm upset about the fact that I didn't get what I felt like I gave in return. Ugh, that is key.
That's
That is key.
not a good feeling.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a good feeling, even despite you giving so much, because it was a huge part of you. You did want to give what you gave because you cared.
Yeah, that's true.
And it bothered you to a degree to see your friend struggling. But it just sounds like it wasn't reciprocated, even in the part of you that wanted it to be.
Yeah.
So do more to see if it could happen. But really, it just sounds like she showed you who she was a long time ago.
You're
So,
so right. She did, and I have had that revelation too. She showed me who she was. Multiple times. Multiple times she has shown me who she is. She has shown me what's important to her. You know, and when I think about it, she was very insecure. It took her a while to get to this place. I feel like I helped her a lot. And she's even said that. She's like, Nikki, you know, you've helped me to become the person that I am. And that was through
you.
She did. But when you think about it though, like you said, she showed me who she was.
She did. And you know what? I'm sorry. I'm sorry you experienced that, because you don't deserve that. And I can tell you don't deserve that. You know, you deserve better. In your situation, it does sound like you were being used. So even in the moment where you said at some point you had abandoned her, I don't think you abandoned her. I think it was more so it was taxing on you mentally, emotionally, and could have been physically taxing on you to be in friendship with her. And a lot of times when we refuse to see the signs because we want to see the best in people, we manipulate what we see into what we are comfortable accepting, that we miss what's going on.
Yeah.
And then we
Or
get
don't
to
want to be the bad guy, you know.
Right. You don't want to be the bad guy, but were you ever like you can't be the bad guy because you're not naturally that person to be a bad person. You know what I mean? Some people have bad qualities. They show up in unhealthy ways. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Oh, you know what I just felt like? I feel like you're being protected. It could be protection. A lot of times when people are removed from our spaces and we feel like there wasn't like real closure, protection, because her behavior could have amplified.
Yeah.
So on the outside, of course, it looks positive presenting
Yeah.
because what it is, but when you deconstruct a lot of the ways that the church has physically, emotionally, psychologically, mentally harmed us,
Yes.
you know, most often people who are wrapped up in that world, they are masking.
I feel like she went there already because she was already trying to mask. You know, it's like,
Exactly.
how
You are
deep
not
can I go?
right. Like, how deep can this mask present? I know this. Listen, I was born and raised in the church. I had two parents who were always very well polished, very well put together, because on the outside world, when we showed up at church, we were the perfect family. It was my dad and my mom with his two beautiful daughters who are well put together, well behaved, all the things. But underneath all of that, my God, all the bullshit that was going on in my home. Are you serious? So when you're a person who is not into masking, who was deconstructing why you even wore a mask in the first place, yeah, people who want a mask are not going to want to be around people who don't want to.
That's true. Very true.
Blow up houses with your awareness. You blow up like you blow up a whole lot with, and I know this and ain't even know you for that long, but I know the way you show up in your power, you're always going to blow up what's there. What's presenting to be okay. But when you really get to the nitty gritty, when you get down to the middle of the donut, it don't taste too good.
Girl, if you don't preach, girl,
It don't
preach.
taste good. And I feel like I just do. I feel like you're being protected from some bullshit. I do. And it's like, because somebody like you, in the way that she was showing up in the friendship, how long was it really going to last? I think she knew it wasn't going to last too long.
Yeah.
So now she's married to somebody who was possibly forcing her to stay in the mess. And that's the comfort zone. A lot of times we lose friendships and we lose these connections because they feel like we can't relate to what they have made comfortable because they are not built to carry what we carry.
Mm-hmm.
No. Because the more that you make yourself aware of things, life looks a lot different.
Mm.
You have to learn how to enjoy life in a different way when you know how shit really operates. When you know
Right.
how people really operate and how they function, how they talk to themselves, which causes them to talk to other people a certain
Yes.
way, and all the aesthetic and all that. No, that shit is surface level.
Yes.
And if it just doesn't sound like she was ready to go to depth with you.
I think you're right. And I don't even say I think, I know you are. I know I'm being protected from something. I haven't thought about that with any of my other friends. That's kind of like, I need to set this down, and maybe I can come back to this later. I've never thought about setting down a friendship before. But the fact that I even thought about it was like, and the fact that my kids, like at the time, they were young. And when I say young, I'm probably like 7 and 13, but for them to be like, Mom, like, don't answer the phone. Like, Mom, like,
That with my mom now. I do
see?
that with my
Yeah.
mom now. My mom did that to me. Like, it's funny because the friendships I no longer have, she never thought they were my friends.
Just calling you because I needed you. Mm-hmm.
Because whatever they needed from me or whatever, like, that's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
It was so many situations where she tried to point out different things to me and I didn't want to see it because I just knew that they were my friends.
Mm-hmm.
See, I didn't have a good relationship growing up with my sisters. So any platonic relationships I would get in, they're my sisters,
Oh.
But the friendship I have now with my best friends,
Mm-hmm.
that relationship is actually the relationship that I needed to be able to heal that relationship with women and heal when I wanted to heal my mother wound. When I healed my mother wound and I acknowledged that and addressed that, I'm realizing like these relationships that I walked away from, it was long overdue for me to walk away from these relationships because it wasn't reciprocal.
Yeah.
It was not at all. The initial relationship I started off telling you about, that one, she was such a user. It was so bad. Like, it was bad. It was bad. And the minute that I attempted to function without her, it was like, where the fuck you think you going? What's happening? So her way of showing out, so two things can exist at once. Even though she handled it in a way that I kind of expected her to handle it because it was who she was. I just thought that I was the exception to the rule because of who I was. And
we all think we special. Everybody thinks they special.
Everybody think they so special, and I have to
Right.
tell people that all the time. So that's one of
Yeah.
the things I tell people all the time. Never think that you're the exception
Right.
with
You're
anybody.
not right.
Especially when you don't like how they're operating and you think that they're going to do it differently with you, don't believe that.
No, they showed you who they are.
They are
Believe
showing
that.
you who they are. You have to believe them. And
You
then
do.
I go back to something Ayanla said. I remember a really, really old episode of it was Oprah and Ayanla was on there. And the guy said, I welcome my dad back in my life. He didn't raise me, blah, 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 but he wants to have a relationship with me. We don't get along well, blah, blah, blah. So Ayanla said, if you are going to keep this person in your life, you have to accept that this is how they're showing up. And if how they're showing up, if it's not okay for you and you think that you cannot be in relationship, stay in that particular dynamic with that person, functioning the way that they are, with the thought process like they're never going to change. This is who they are. I should be okay. If you can't stay in that relationship with that thought process, then you shouldn't be with them.
Exactly.
They shouldn't be in your life, or you shouldn't be in their life. And you have to set a boundary and let it go. Let it be what it is.
Right.
And ever since then, I never forgot that, because I told my mom that. I said, this is what helps us get along, because we bumped heads for several reasons, for whatever reason, but that's my girl, because ultimately I know what she brings to my life. I know what benefit she is to me, and I just love her with her being who she is. I know her story. So I can understand and I can process, like, but if I need certain things, I know not to go to her, because I know that she's not gonna show up.
Exactly. You have certain friends for certain things.
Right, but she's my mom, and
Right.
just because they're your parent or your friend or your lover or whatever they are to you, it doesn't mean that they have the wherewithal
For
to show
everything.
for everything.
Yeah.
So that's something that I had to detach myself from, feeling like, well, she's my mom, she should be there for
She should know
everything.
everything.
Right. Some people just cannot show up for everything. And I realized that. I got a homegirl now. Love her to pieces. Our conversation can go a little below surface, but if it gets too heavy, she can't handle it, because she can't handle emotions well, because she can't
Yes.
handle her own emotions well.
Right.
So if I got
Yes.
something heavy that I'm crying about, I know who not to
To
call.
talk. Right.
But if I know I want to go out and have some fun, I
Yes.
know who to call.
Exactly.
If I want to confide, if I want to handle the situation on my own and let it play out, and once I get to the conclusion, if I want to talk to her about it after the fact, after the tears and everything, then I will go to her like, girl, let me tell you what happened. But then you have some friends who can actually go through the process with you.
With you. Yeah.
But I just learned that method works for me. I'm going to go through the process, and I'm going to call my best friend if I need my best friend. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Outside of that, I have me, and I love having me, because I do have the answers, and I have the wherewithal, and I have the capacity to show up for any part of me that's hurt, whether it be the little girl in me, the rebellious teenager in me, or the adult in me. You know what I'm saying? It's like, once I learned how to be who I needed for myself, anybody else was just an addition anyway.
Good.
Everybody else is just an addition anyway.
I just wrote that. I haven't posted it yet. We've been talking. But that was one of my threads. Yes, I have a thread that says, once you do for self, once you do for you, you don't put up with anything less. Once you give to you and do for you,
Yep.
you don't let nobody else give you anything less than what you would give yourself.
Exactly. And my misery don't love company. So I like to, because it makes me feel stronger. It actually builds my confidence knowing that I can navigate myself through a situation. But it also, in the back of my mind, I still have that safety where I don't have to navigate it by myself. And I know who to outsource to, because I've worked through the abandonment. I know who I can call.
Where to
Who I
go.
know for a fact is not going to emotionally abandon me when I need it the most. But the people I know would, I'm not going to put myself through that, because I
No.
learned
You've
that
been
I'm
there.
carrying enough. Right. I've already been there.
You don't need to go there again.
We already been there, girl. It's no need to repeat.
Exactly.
There's no need to repeat.
I love this. I love this. I love
Too.
where our conversation came from.
Me too.
Friends that abandoned us to
Yeah.
learning how to deal with the abandonment ourselves.
Yeah.
And just being okay with it, because once you have gotten to that place, that self-awareness, that healing part of you, it's kind of like, okay, how do I show up for me? When no one else is showing up for me, where do I go to show up for me? Now, I am going to say, it does feel good to have someone show up for you.
Yes, it does.
Does feel good to be able to be like, listen, I need this. But like you said, you have to know who you can go to, right?
You gotta
And
know.
that's a big place to be.
Yes, girl, because there's some stuff I'm not calling my mother.
Yes.
Like, I can give her the synopsis, but the details, I'm not calling. I've forgiven her for the abandonment that I experienced with her. And I know what areas that I know she'll show up and what areas I know she's not capable of showing up. So again,
Question: was she a single mom? Was
yes.
your okay? I see.
So she started off married. My parents, I tell people this all the time. I was a product of limerence. I was a product of limerence. When my parents thought that they were madly in love with each other, I was born and I was doted on. I was the happy child. I was the bubbly little girl and and my parents adored me and my dad and all the things but that was surface level stuff. Underneath that, it was something completely different. They were married up until I think I was like maybe like between 11 and 13. And after that, he was like in and out a lot. And then I just didn't see him for years. And we reconnected back in, I want to say like 2015. Connected, and I had him for a couple years, and he passed away in 2018.
Sorry to hear that. So you had him for 3 years.
Yes. Yep.
Did you guys reconnect well together? Yeah.
First, and then really getting to know each other. I tried to have the conversations, but I wasn't who I am today.
Of course. Yeah.
I feel like it would have went a lot better if I actually knew how to communicate it better.
Now, yes.
It ended up being like an argument. One thing I won't forget though is that at some point I had refused to go see him when he was in hospice. And my mom had talked me out of that, and I went to go see him, and right before he passed away, he was nonverbal, but he said my name. Said my name. Yep. I talked to him for so many hours, and I told him, I was like, Daddy, like I'm learning how to forgive you. And even after he passed away, he came to me in my sleep. He came to me in my dreams, and he would still visit me, and he wants to be one of my ancestors, but I'm still working through some stuff. And because when he does pop up, for the spiritual girlies that understand what I'm saying, when he pops up, I don't really have anything to say, but I still wish him happy birthday when his birthday comes around. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes I'll say certain things to him and he'll respond back, but he does respect the space that I'm asking him to keep. Because I feel like he wants to do more in the afterlife than he did in life.
Yeah.
He is remorseful for it, but it's like baby steps. Don't crowd me now. Don't crowd. If it's something that I know certain people can't handle, I go to my best friends because they comprehend that type of, you know what I'm saying? That type of conversation.
Right.
And they're filling in the blanks. Like, they're finishing my sentences. And I don't get that with everybody. And I know, but they're very busy too. So even though we talk more, if it's something that I need something quick for, so myself, my spirit team, or I'll reach out to somebody like you. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially if it comes to Nikki, and I'm like, Nikki has so much knowledge that even in any situation now, I instantly think of you. But I'm like, I'm not gonna crowd her, but when she gets the moment, it's like, hey girl, I kinda need you.
Yeah, girl, exactly.
Because I
Sure.
know you get it. I know you get it. Yes. And
Been there, done that, bought some t-shirts,
and sold some too.
and sold them too. Wrote some books, put it in there.
Yes. And I love that. I want to read your books too, but I feel like you're so knowledgeable about certain things. It's like, I'm gonna come to you. You know what I mean? Especially about something like this. But in the same token, I'm gonna be, aware of you got your own life and you got you a boo now.
I know. You know what's so funny though? You know how like you got like a missing piece? It's like the missing piece, right? It's like, oh, I've been working for this. I'm working for this. Oh, now here he is. Now I'm just like, wait.
Well, what I do
work?
now?
Right? Work. My kids. I have to bathe and eat too. Yeah. And then I got my little boo thing on the side. Yeah. And then it just all kind of fits together. I'm not overly excited about it. Just kind of like, oh, okay, here we go. This is what we were supposed to be doing all along. Anyway, so now just live your life. I don't know. I've never been that person that's like, yes. No, it's just kind of like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
This is what we're doing. Okay.
Because you know what I learned too? Because I said the same thing about certain things. I said, I strive so hard to get to the goal. Like, I completely missed the fact that the experience, the whole point of the process is
Was
in
the
the
journey.
process. Yes.
That was my thread today, girl, about the
It's the
journey.
journey. It's not the end goal. It's great to get to the end
It's
goal,
right, but
but
it's the
it's like once
journey.
you achieve it, and I really feel like a lot of our desperation to achieve the goal is because we're not taught to experience, like really be present in the experience and enjoy the journey.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Girl, I posted today about how my dad, and I learned this from my dad, I think, when we would get in a car and go on trips,
Mm-hmm.
he would never stop along the way.
Like
Never.
no road stops, like bathroom stops and stuff.
Bathroom and gas.
Okay.
Yes.
That's
But let's and if you're hungry, maybe you could say he gonna stop so he can feed you, right? Let's say we're driving and we see like there's
mountains or something. A
or a
beautiful
mall.
view. Yeah.
Or, because you know how you are when you're a kid, a mall or mountains
Yeah.
or a lake, or he's like, nope, nope, gotta get there, gotta get there. And we would get there and just, just go to sleep. It wasn't like we had to get there. My mom calls it hurry up and wait. She gotta hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. And then when we get there, we're just waiting around
Mm-hmm.
until what he had planned for us. You were talking about how you get to the goal.
Yeah.
For us, it was you just get to the destination.
Yep.
You're not really enjoying the journey. So I was
Right.
never really taught to enjoy the journey.
Mm-hmm.
It was just get there, get there. We got to get there. And you miss a lot when you're not able to sit in a space. I'm still learning this. Literally, girl, driving is hard for me to stop somewhere along the way. Really hard for me to stop. I can say, "Oh, I really want that shaved ice, but I gotta get home. That's my destination." You can't stop and go get shaved ice even though you really want it. But you know what my boyfriend now is teaching me? Because he don't let nothing stop him from what he wants. If he want it,
Mm-hmm.
he gets it. And me, I'm like, no, we can just go back to the place. We don't have to go out. Why are we still going out? And then once I get there, I'm like, oh, this is kind of nice.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm learning, like, it's okay to go to the next place if that's what you want. It's okay to stop. It's okay to enjoy it. It's okay to, like, because he splurges. It's okay to splurge a little bit, like, he's getting me out of my shell a lot.
Love that.
Making me learn to, like, just be in the moment. And especially as a single mom, I'm counting my coins. Like, I got 2 kids. I gotta take care of by myself.
Right.
And then him on the other end, he's like, oh, so do you want to try the chocolate and the vanilla? Oh, you mean I don't have to choose one? I can, because I do want both of them.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm learning a lot. I'm learning, like you say, the journey, relaxing a little bit, enjoying a little bit more. It's like, and it's amazing what you can learn from other people and being in this space too, So I'm looking forward to learning some more things.
Me too. I was like, I naturally have, my learning style is inquisitive anyway. Like, I'll ask questions.
Ask lots of questions, yeah.
Yeah, I ask a lot of questions because I really just want to be sure. Like, I want to know so much. I have a curious way of learning.
Yes. Precocious is what I've always been called.
Yes, yes. And I love that about myself. So if I have to take a detour, it's okay. Like,
yeah.
let me enjoy this detour. And I learned that I'm asking those questions now out loud, and it's just like, is this a detour?
Good.
Okay. This is a detour, then can you help me get comfortable in this detour?
Yes, and enjoying the space and the moment.
Helps me see that even the friendships that I was in, they'll pop up in my Facebook memories, and I'm like, I don't even talk to this person anymore. But when I remember, yes, I'm like, I remember, my mind will go back down memory lane, and I'll go back to that moment.
Yes.
Like, wait, that was a really good moment. And I've actually gotten to the place where this keeps me from hating people that I don't want around anymore.
I know.
You were there for the version of me that wanted you to be there.
Yes.
I enjoyed you at some point, so I
Exactly.
would never hate you anymore. And
Yes.
I appreciate what you did for me then, but if you were to come back around, you would have to relearn me anyway.
Yeah, we'd be different, two totally different people. Yeah.
We're two totally different people. So I don't even know who they are today to even still keep hanging on to the story that I would tell.
Girl, I had the same conversation with my daughter today. My oldest daughter, I had a best friend at the time. We're talking about losing friends, right? I had a best friend at the time. We called her auntie. My daughter called her auntie because she was around the whole time. She used to take pictures with her. She's a babysitter, everything. Well, same thing happened. She really had like a hard time and she had to move back home. So she moved from California to a different state. And in that process, we kind of lost contact. But I decided to reach out and I say, hey, I go, haven't heard from you in a while. Well, she took it as an attitude and she goes, well, I've got things to do other than just like talking to you or something like that. It came out very rude. And then I was like, ooh, okay. And so I was like, oh, sorry. And then we just stopped talking to each other from that moment forward. But my daughter brought her up today and she said, you know who I miss? And she was like, Auntie I or whatever. And I was like, yeah. I was like, but you know what's cool about that though? Like, I always knew like there's people that come for a season. And we had a really good time at that time. And she found she's married now. She's one of those people I would have never thought would have ever gotten married, but she got married. She found a husband, and I haven't heard from her since then. Yeah. I see her on Facebook, but that's it.
I love
that's it, girl.
And that was another thing I used to do. I used to wish people well and all the things, but I don't know. Like some people, I just don't. It's like one of those things I probably wouldn't think about them if they didn't come up in my Facebook memories. Or somebody didn't that I haven't seen for a while asked about them or like I'm not thinking about you, so I'm not in a space where I'm either wishing you well or not. I'm either wishing you well or wishing you hell. I'm not doing one of them because I'm so fixated. I'm obsessed with myself. I'm literally self-centered now. I love that for me.
They say that most people think that other people think about them, but most people ain't thinking about them. They thinking about themselves.
Yep.
Ain't nobody think about you. Everybody think about themselves.
I wrote down an affirmation like that earlier before we even talked. It said, people are not thinking about me like I think they are.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that's that selfishness too of you thinking about yourself again.
Yes.
I think about myself so much. Everybody else has to be thinking about me too.
It's like I don't even try to like put the two together. It's like I'm thinking about me now. I'm paying attention to the people that I have around me. I'm appreciating the friendships I have more. These friendships are more aligned with me. These connections are more aligned with me.
I love that. And you're growing and getting new friends. It's like, wait, these new friends go with me now.
Yes, like these friends match me better.
Exactly.
Like people like you just match me so much better. And I'm even thinking about how I'm showing up too. I wonder if I'm as good as a friend as I feel like they are to me. I really hope that they are. But I have friends where I can say, am I a good friend to you? Because I could think that I am, but I want to be a better friend. I want to be, because even getting better friends before I knew how to be a better friend, I will always make past relationships them the problem. When I was held accountable, it made me, I went down a reflection rabbit hole where it was like, well, how did I know how to show up as a better friend when I didn't have that good of friendships?
Yeah.
You learn how to be in one relationship, but then you get this other relationship and it's like, so I have to show up this way.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's why I don't mind being held accountable. If somebody is saying, I feel like you're doing a little bit too much here. Okay, girl. Thank you for coming. Like, my biggest thing is people don't talk to me as much as they want to. And I'm like, Well, I'll explain why. Because you mean that much to me. But I also realize that sometimes I have to come out of that and think of them too. If I feel like talking today, so it's like if I think of them, I'll reach out. It's not one-sided. Even when I talked to my best friend about how I was feeling, she's even said to me, she said, I honor what you're saying. I apologize. I hear you. Going forward, I'm going to do better. But just remember that it's a two-way street, not just me reaching out to you. You
Right.
reach out.
It's two-way. Yeah.
Right. And I said to
Yeah.
her, I said, you know what? You absolutely right. I do. Because I'll get so wrapped up in my world that I won't reach out.
I know.
And
And
I'm,
women, we have that problem not just with friends, with guys too. But that's a whole nother
yeah,
podcast. That's a whole nother podcast.
girl, that's the whole, because that'll be a whole nother hour.
It will be. Yeah. We'll say that for another day because we've
Yeah,
already
girl.
gone over.
That'll be, we did. But this was
Yeah.
such a good talk. So even
It
in
was wonderful.
it was in abandonment with friendships, I would just suggest reflect. Yeah, and just honor the space that you're in now. Honor the space that you were
That
in.
you had. Exactly.
Because
What they
that person was great to you, or you felt like they were great to you when you were that person. When people outgrow each other all the
all
time,
the
outgrow each other all the time. One of the things I did say in this relationship with my best friends, I said, I will relearn you in every lifetime on every timeline. I said,
Okay.
because you mean just that much to me and I care about you. And they feel the exact same way. The exact same way. They're like, whatever it is I need to learn about you or relearn about you, show me, teach me. I am open. I genuinely want this relationship. I want this connection. So that's just the biggest thing. You want to be in connection with people that actually want to be in connection.
Also, have people pour into you the way that you pour into people. It needs to be reciprocal. That
Mhm.
goes for any relationship that we have.
Yep.
And we'll talk more about, reciprocity in
Yes.
dating and expectations in dating next time. But for now, I really appreciate you. I appreciate your insight when it comes to abandonment, helping me process everything I was going through my friendship abandonment.
Mhm.
I do appreciate you. I appreciate you coming on and sharing
Thank
as
you.
well.
I appreciate you. I just think
Oh,
you're a gem. I do. I think you're a gem.
thank you.
I think you're a gem. And whatever I can do to support you shining as brightly as you should, I'll be here.
Girl, I appreciate that. And all right, on that note, I'm gonna let you guys go because I know y'all got other things to do. I know there's plenty of places that you guys could be, but you are here with me, and I appreciate it. Thank you, Sheba, for coming on. And then
I would do this again in a heartbeat.
yes, I love it. Where can people find you for those who might want to follow you?
So I would say I'm on Instagram. My handle is at underscore Sheba Speaks Volumes with a S underscore. You can find me on Instagram, and then of course it'll lead you to Threads. But I'm also on TikTok at Sheba Speaks Volumes. And then I believe my at is at underscore Sheeb underscore. So SHEEB. Yes.
Awesome. Sounds good. I forgot to do one thing, which is before we get off of here, what is one thing that you would tell your future self about abandonment?
Let me see. That's a good one. What is one thing I would tell my future self about abandonment? You're still worthy.
Yes, indeed.
You're still worthy. You're still worthy, even if it wasn't seen by other people. It has absolutely
Nothing to do with you.
to do with you. To do with you why people don't want to be around.
Mm-hmm.
It's a them thing, and all you need to do is figure out you. That's it.
Yes.
Yep. And
I,
just love you.
I love that. I
Thank you.
love it.
Thank you. I love being in this space.
Mm.
Because
Yes.
it used to be very heavy for me, but now it's like I don't experience it the same way. I just feel like instantly when I lose people, I'm like, well, their assignment was probably just up.
Mm-hmm. The end. Exactly.
Assignment was,
Lessons.
yep. I realized too, like once someone's assignment is up, you don't communicate with them anymore. It's done. You learned a lesson.
Mm-hmm.
Notice you don't run into them, you don't speak to them, they don't text you, you don't text them. Like there's no desire to reach out and reconnect and all the things. And that's
Don't
the
want.
biggest thing for me. We could be in the same place, we could be in
Mm-hmm.
the same city. I had people that lived around the corner from me, and I've never
Mm-hmm.
seen them ever again.
Mm.
Ever again.
Interesting. Yeah, because God removes them from your life, they're gone.
Exactly. So that is my advice for everyone else. Once people's assignment is up,
Mm-hmm.
let it
I
be
love that. I love that. Let their assignment be up. I think my advice for myself
that.
would be that it doesn't matter if other people abandon you as long as you don't abandon yourself.
Love that. Yes.
Ever again. Because I know there are times when I have abandoned myself. And I think that's why I held on so tight to other people abandoning me, because they showed me already what I had already done to myself. And I
Mm-hmm.
was expecting something from them that I wasn't even willing to give myself. But
Mm.
once I was willing to give to myself everything I needed, guess
Yes.
what? It didn't matter if they abandoned me or not.
Yep. Because
So
you
I think
everything you need to you. And
you have
that's
everything you need
mm-hmm.
as long as you don't abandon you. Like don't just don't do it. Just don't. That is my advice to my future self. Please don't ever abandon us again, because as long as you don't abandon us, it won't matter if anybody else does.
I love that. I absolutely love that. I'm gonna write it down when we hang up.
Well, you don't even have to worry about it. You got the podcast. You have it and this is a recording.
And I actually wrote a line like that in my poem. It ends saying, I will sacrifice you before I ever lose me again.
Girl, I have a poem that's very similar. It was about finding myself and abandoning my heart. My heart was speaking to myself. It was something like that. It was something like that.
Oh,
I
I
have to
love
find it.
that. Yes, you do. I want to hear that. I do.
I
I
have
want to
to
hear
find
that.
it. And then I'll hear yours. Next time we're gonna do a poetry thing next time. How about that?
We should. I have so much of it, like so much of it. And
Yeah.
I'm still writing. And
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing is just memorizing them for when I actually perform. But because once I write it is like, and then once I write about you, how you treat me determines what that pen says. So,
I know that's right. I
oh
know
yeah.
that's right. See,
As
for
a
me,
writer, yes, you're right.
yes, I'm a writer, girl. I'm a writer. But for me,
I'm a no writer at that.
thank you.
I love
Well,
the way you word stuff.
well.
Yeah.
From writer to writer, that's the biggest compliment you can have, okay?
Yes, girl. I love your writing. I was like, oh, I gotta get this book. I have to get these books because I
Oh, man.
read them because I just love this. I'm
Yeah.
like you just have a way of drawing in the reader,
Mm,
the picture, and
mm-hmm.
taking us on a journey with you. And then the way you end it, you leave us waiting for more. That's
Mm,
a great methodology. Great
mm.
methodology.
You
Yes.
know, you know my major is film and television. So
Because
I
it
have
feels like a show.
it's a
Yes.
show, right? So everything I do, like you have to. They say when I was learning how to write, of course,
Mm-hmm.
and which when you're a writer, because you're a writer,
Mm-hmm.
you like. I'm a good writer. I don't need to go to school to learn how to write. What they gonna teach me? And then I went to school and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So this and this body, and then I need a cliffhanger. Okay.
Mhm.
So I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad that I went to school. It was a lot of money just to learn,
Yeah.
but
It was worth it and it paid off because you're phenomenal. And I would
well,
read.
we'll see. We'll see how well it pays out. I ain't seen no ka-ching yet, but we're gonna put that into existence.
Oh, absolutely. You know what? I'm sending you this thing, this chat GTP prompt to teach me how to make more money just by using my charts.
Okay.
We're gonna hook you up, girl.
Yeah. All right. Send me that prompt.
It pinpoints exactly what it is that I'm supposed to be doing that allows more abundance in my life.
Okay.
How
All
I'm
right.
supposed to show up, what manifestations I can use, what affirmations I can use to rewire my subconscious, all the things.
Okay.
Ultimately, I'm already doing it. Like even down to my job. I finally started living up to what I'm supposed to live up to, which is
Girl.
why it's becoming more successful. Even this
Yeah.
with being able to talk to you and your viewers, I pray
Mhm.
that these episodes meet the hearts of the people that needed to hear this the most. I do.
Yes. Amen. I love that. All right, I'm not going to hold you any longer. I'd like to thank you for coming on. And until next time, you guys.
Until next time, thank you so much for watching us and having an open heart and ears.
Of course, yes. As Sheba Speaks Volumes said, thank you. All right, guys, see you next week. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Hello Me, It's Me with Nikki D. Lovely. Just remember, you can't change who you were yesterday, but you can always learn and grow to become a better version of yourself today. So, make sure you do the mental work today for the future you tomorrow, and I will see you next week. And in the meantime, make sure that you check me out on my Instagram at Nikki D. Lovely. You can also find me at nikkidlovely.com and check out my book, No F Boys Allowed. Just a little shameless plug. But either way, I will see you guys next time, and thanks again. Bye.